So I just finished listening to a hearing for a little boy. He's 12 years old. His name is Lil Rodney, and he is out of Texas. Okay, and I'm going to post that hearing at the end of the video. He was sentenced to 7 years for shooting a 1-year-old child, and that 1-year-old child happened to survive that shooting, so thank God. Early on, Lil Rodney had an ankle bracelet that he got for committing arson. Then he attempted to break that ankle bracelet in an effort to go to his friend's funeral, and he didn't know the last name of his friend, so that was a failed attempt altogether. But the judge reminded him of the acts that he committed. You know, he put pictures of the little boy with guns in his hands, all of that stuff. And, you know, the little boy started crying and sobbing and asking for another chance and saying, hey, could you do what you did last time? Could you please forgive me? I swear I won't do it again. And the judge was like, hey, every time you come here, you cry and you cry and you cry and you swear to God that you're not going to do the same thing. You swear to your mom that you're not going to do the same thing. But the judge said, I don't think God would be happy with you swearing that you're not going to do something and you keep doing it over and over again. And then the judge, you know, with no remorse said, hey, I'm going to sentence you to 7 years. You'll get out when you're 19 based off of good behavior. You'll get out early. However, we'll have to see. And you're also going to have to see me every 5 days based off of your age. The boy continued to cry. He got up, you know, he told his grandfather, I love you, and tell mom I love her too. And the grandfather just sounded really hopeless, you know, on the Zoom call for the hearing. What I will say is that that boy's family failed him tremendously. Okay, I don't think people understand how much the home environment impacts people that go out into society. You know, we will all have missteps, trauma, issues in our home. Okay, but it is more intense for some people than others. And when people don't go through therapy, when they don't get guidance, when they don't get mentorship, they go out into society and they become criminals, predators, murderers, and the list goes on. So just imagine the effects of a child that sees drugs being done. They see gang-related activities. They see violence. They see shooting in their community. They see parents that are doing abnormal activities. They go through abuse or experience abuse. Like, those things help to mold a person in a negative way. So I don't know what happened in this young boy's home, but I know it led to him being in prison for 7 years. You know, the biggest question also can be, how do we help our black and brown boys to stay on track? Why do they keep going through this? Why do they feel like living the thuggish gangster life is the way, right? And so my thing is, and I do want to say this, is that a lot of people have said, you know, this boy needs therapy. He needs a guidance program. He needs something. We don't know if that was put in place. Let's keep that in mind. We can only say that he needs it. But did he even get it? Because there's a process that needs to be done. And was guidance and therapy and mentorship a part of that process before that judge sentenced him and went straight to the kill? You understand what I'm saying? So if that boy did not have those therapeutic and rehabilitative services, then no, he shouldn't have been immediately sentenced. But if he did, then how do you stop this boy from committing these crimes? Okay? That's the best way to put it. 7 years is extensive, but how do you stop a young boy who understands what he's doing? Like, how do you stop him from committing those crimes? He fully knows that he's breaking his ankle bracelet. He knows that he's trying to get free. He knows what he did when he pulled that trigger to aim at that child. That baby could have died. So how do we stop those things from happening? Again, we don't know if therapy or counseling or anything took place. So the major focus is the sentencing, right? I will tell you that in graduate school, I did an extensive plan based off of a case study. And it was a young man who did not have his high school diploma. He had to get his GED in prison, okay? He went to prison for 4 years, and he had been in prison for the first 4 years of his child's life. So his child experienced parental absenteeism. He had broke up with his girlfriend, the mother of his child, and so that, you know, they were co-parenting. The young man that went to prison, he had also experienced parental absenteeism, which explained why he acted out and had behavioral and cognitive issues in school, which led to him going into prison. But the biggest part of my plan was looking at preventing recidivism. And recidivism is the tendency for a person to go back to jail. 50% of people that go to jail go right back for either a different or the same crime. And the missing piece here is properly transitioning people back into society. There's not enough programs to do so. So people are set up to be right back in the space that they were in. If you're in jail for an extensive amount of time, you're not susceptible to grow based off of when you first went in. You know, you don't always have those tools set up to help you progress in life. And then when you get out, it's just like, okay, here's your clothes from when the first day you were in, you know, 5, 6, 7, 20 years ago. You have a great day. But in my plan, back to my plan that I developed, I talked about the young man, you know, getting counseling, going into the workforce, possibly, you know, going to school, taking a life skills class, you know, doing things to help him transition. And this would be implemented through the prison system. But, but with it not possibly being that way, you know, he's susceptible to fail. Okay. Every prison system is not set up to send people out properly. There are things that are in place in jail that help people. You know, some people are able to have social media or, you know, have phones or stuff like that. And that helps to reduce, you know, depression and lessen anger. And it just helps people to be more at ease in jail, so you don't have a lot of issues. You know, if you give them a little something, then it won't cause a bunch of riots and anger to build up and depression and stuff like that, because they do, in most cases, have to serve their time. And I hate when people have to serve their time for crimes they didn't even commit, God good almighty, and that's a whole nother story. Now back to this little boy. He's 12 years old. And he's supposed to get out when he's 19. Say he spends that whole 7 years in jail. He will go in with a 12-year-old mentality and then get out at 19. And he can probably manifest in his mind and become crazy, or just think of things that he can do when he gets out. He would not have been able to grow properly as a human being. He wouldn't be able to develop like he's supposed to. He's going to go back out there and possibly do the same thing and end up right back in jail. Again, how do we help our black and brown boys on a bigger scale? How do we help people properly transition back into society so they're not susceptible to recidivism? Okay. But I want to draw back here and let you guys know the main issue is the home environment. When I was in graduate school, I also did a lot of papers on social problems. Every time I did research on a social problem, it always reverted back to the home environment. What was happening in the home? And when you're a part of the village, and it takes a village to raise a child, like, you can only do but so much with mentorship and guiding that child and putting him or her on the right direction or in the right direction. But when that child goes back home and they see what they see and they experience what they experience, it's hard to break them out of that. You know, I work with the youth, and, you know, you really have to get through to these kids. You have to give them tough love in order for them to understand that there is light at the end of the tunnel, based off of, you know, them coming from home every day to, you know, where they're supposed to be. You know, rather a school or a center or a practice, like you have to help them get in a good mindset. Okay. Conversations with children that are in low income areas are different from conversations with children that are in middle class areas. And they're different from conversations of children that are in high class areas. So, but we really have to give more attention to children that are in low income areas, because they don't have the resources all the time or the services all the time to help them through life and to help them cope with what they're going through. You know, it's so hard to help a child that experienced a shooting last night, or they saw a shooting the night before, or, you know, their parents are a part of gangs, so they only like certain colors. Like, these are things that adults have to deal with. So again, it really takes a village in trying to get those kids on the right track. But back to Lil Rodney, where did we go wrong? I wonder who is raising him. You know, I know the grandfather showed up. However, was it because he was available or because he's raising him? See, this is what we do not know here. And so, you know, the little boy said to tell his mom that, you know, he loves her. So my thing is like, if the grandparents is raising the young man, then there's an issue here. When it comes to grandparents and raising young children, they're at a bit of a disadvantage because the grandparents are working against the factors of their age and parenting style. That is not always effective in raising a young child, and opposed to a much younger parent, it can be more effective. And I know that sounds wrong to say, but, you know, based off the studies, you know, it is what it is. But say he's in a single parent home with no type of mentorship or male guidance, that could be a factor as well. And let me tell you something about single parent homes. Children can make it through. Okay? There's no other way to put it. If you get that child into good programs, if you stay on that child, if you're tough with that child, if you continue to love that child can make it through that single parent home. And we don't knock single parent homes. There are 2-parent homes that have parents that are still creating a tumultuous environment, and that child still comes out bad. You understand? So it's all about parenting and how you raise that child. But, you know, based off of research, when it comes to parental absenteeism and a parent being absent in some sense, yes, it could affect the child cognitively, behaviorally, psychologically. Yes, it can. But, you know, with parents, it's up to you to make sure that you close in those gaps, and it can be done, you know. But something went wrong with this young boy where he got exposed to a life that he thought was right, with guns and shooting up things, and he wanted to take things out on people like a 1-year-old child who didn't deserve what he or she deserved. It wasn't worth it. So just to wrap up everything, guys, you know, with this young boy going to prison for 7 years, and we don't know if he's going to be in there for 7 years. I do think the judge is going to let him out early. You know, is this going to be a learning process for him to not do this again? If they exhausted all avenues in helping this boy, say they did, do you think that prison was it? How do we suppress the pipeline to prison? How do we stop our black and brown boys from going down that route? What can we do? Because it's disheartening every day to see it happen. This is very unfortunate that this young boy is in this predicament. So, you know, as people, as cognitive people, as smart people, as logical people, we have to be a part of that village. I'm glad to be a part of that village, because I hate to see the youth, you know, going to jail or getting into bad things. And, I could feel like, dang, I'm responsible for just a little bit of this. But I also have to think about the fact that I've tried and I put in the effort to make sure that they at least try to go down the right path. And that can go for anybody else that's a part of the village. So guys, give me your thoughts on this whole situation. Again, the video is going to play right now.
All right, Mr. Moore. Hey, look what I found. I know 11-year-olds are supposed to have guns, right? After they've been accused of shooting a baby. What should I do at this point? Where am I at?
I was trying to see, could you at least give me one more chance?
Stopping things for you. This isn't about you. This is the hearing to decide whether to keep you or not.
Yes, sir.
You do have a right to remain silent. Give up that right. Anything you say at a detention hearing cannot be used against you at any other type of court setting. All right, so Rodney, you and I are familiar with each other. You are 11 years old. No, wait a minute. Yesterday was your birthday.
Yes, sir.
Now you're 12 years old. All right. So, well, happy birthday. I'm sorry you had to spend it here at a detention facility. And Mr. Spence, you're here, right? Okay. So, just to let you know. I don't put this down, right? Mr. Moore?
It is.
Yes, sir.
You remember this one? You taking this picture?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I keep it here on my bench, just a reminder. Once you put something on the internet, it doesn't come down. And then, all right, so you're on probation for arson. And that is from 2019. And then we've had all kinds of problems. Most recently, I'd let you go. You come in and out. I've always let you go because you're so young. I mean, you're 11 years old, right? So I didn't want to keep an 11-year-old in here. But every time I let you out, you just cut off your electron monitor, you come back. Yes, sir?
This time I cut it because I was on the phone with my...
Please
This
don't
is
say
not something
anything,
that you
okay?
want to talk
Don't
about
say
right now.
that right now.
Yes,
Okay.
sir. Yes, ma'am. Yes.
So, all right. So you keep on running away. We keep on getting you back in here, make you stay a couple days. You promised me you're not going to cut it off. I think you cried a couple times about coming back here. And then this last time we let you out. Mr. Spence, when was the last time we let him out?
He cut his monitor on 8/14 of this year and ran.
Okay, so about 6 weeks ago, cut off his monitor and ran, even though you promised me you wouldn't. All right, so now there is evidently a new charge that was filed relating back to April. And that's the one where you shot the 1-year-old? Mr. Spence?
Yes, Your Honor, it is.
Like a 1-year-old baby?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so he's on probation for arson. He's accused of shooting a baby at 11 years old. And then we bring him back in. He's been on the run, and he's smoking weed.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Anything else I'm missing about him?
Nope, that's about it, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Moore. Hey, look what I found. Right? I know 11-year-olds are supposed to have guns. Right? After they've been accused of shooting a baby. Right?
Yes, sir.
So, Mr. Moore, what should I do at this point? Like, where am I at?
This time I wasn't gonna cut, but like,
Don't say that, okay? Not right now. You're gonna want to talk to your attorney first.
yes, ma'am. Well, I don't know, but I was trying to see, could you at least give me one more chance, and then see if this time I mess up, you should like hold me for some months.
Yeah, but didn't you say that last time? You told me you hold you for a year last time if I mess up, didn't you?
I never said that. I don't remember.
What? Yeah, you told me that I can hold you next time. Give me one more chance. Actually, you said that two times. So, and remember, the last time I said, well, that's what you said last time. Why should I believe you this time?
All I was trying to do was go to my friend's funeral, and I asked Mr. Spence, and he said no. And then I missed JV and stuff because I was in here, and every time I miss one of my friends' stuff, I tried to go to the funeral, and Mike didn't let me go because I didn't know my friend's last name. And then I just had to because I didn't want to more.
Rodney, I think Judge understands your point at this point, okay?
So they want guns at the funeral? Is that where you're trying to go?
No, that was a long time after the funeral.
Right?
Your Honor.
So you went to a funeral for a friend, but you don't know the friend's last name?
No, because we all go by nicknames, and everybody noticed. And then he said I couldn't go because I didn't know the last name, and that hurt. I missed so many events.
And your nickname is 30 Shots, right?
Yes, sir. I'm not gonna lie. Yes, sir.
Well, you're not gonna lie. You've lied to me before.
I'm just telling all the truth. It ain't nothing to lie. You know everything.
Rodney, here's the problem. It's like, if you lie to me so many times, how do I know when you're lying? And how do I know when you're telling the truth?
Because I'm tell all the truth. Now, I'm not gonna lie. I promise to God right here and to the man, I'm not gonna lie to you. Anything you ask me, I'm gonna tell you.
But remember when you raise your hand, promise to God that you're not gonna cut off your monitor?
I had to go to my own boy's funeral, and that's it. That was it. out for, I was never gonna cut it. I would have.
Hey, Rodney. Okay.
Rodney,
Okay.
you told me you're not gonna lie.
No.
Rodney, I'm really tired of you lying to me. I just said, I'm tired of, like, every time you come in here, you cry. You know that, right? Like, every single time you come in here, you cried. And every single time you begged me for one more chance, because you swear to God, on my mama's name, I'm not going to cut off the monitor. I'm not going to run off. Like, every single time.
I did my
remember this, right?
Yes, and then, but look, I'm not even lying. Only God knows, my papa knows, and Mr. Spence knows why I cut off that EM.
Yeah, what I can't figure out is why you're always lying to me, and every time you tell me that you're not going to lie. Grandpa, you remember those conversations, right?
Quite well, sir. Yes. Sir.
Every single time you promise me, I swear to God. You know, God's got to be angry with you swearing to him so many times.
Papa, why did I cut it?
No, it's not about you cutting. I'm talking about why you're lying. That's what I'm talking about right now. Right? Like every time you think, I mean, here's the thing, right? The first time you came in here and you cried, like you were bawling, right? And you were crying, and I felt sorry for you because you're just this little kid that I thought was crying. And then now I'm realizing you just cry every single time. I don't think they're fake tears. I think you're really crying. But you cry every time. It's because you're a kid. You're 11 years old. I'm sorry. Now you're 12 years old, right? And that's my problem is I don't like little 11 and 12-year-olds here because you're just immature. I mean, you're a baby. And so now, but the thing is, Rodney, if you want to be treated like an adult, you do adult things, and then you're asking to treat like an adult. So I don't know why you cry so much. Right? I mean, you going around pointing guns, and now you're accused of shooting a little kid. And then I know what's going on. I know what's going on over at Parks Mall. I know what's going on out on the street. Like, I know all this, right?
Yes, sir.
I understand you're just causing problems everywhere you go. Here's the thing, Rodney, right? I'm not going to let you go because I know you're going to go out there. You can handle more guns. Maybe somebody else gets shot, right? I know you go out there. You're going to make more videos about Judge Kim, right? Because I've seen those too.
I made another video about you. That was the only video.
Right? So, you know, this is one of those things. I know you're going to go out and you're going to do your thing and cause more problems. So here's the thing. You're not as tough as you think you are. Right? You're not as tough as you're trying to make yourself out to be. Right? You're not. I mean, you're just causing problems and you're making people pick sides. And the thing is, everyone that's picking a side is losing. They're all losing because you know what? They're picking a side over you, the kid that's just trying to milk the system. Right? You're just using everyone else around you, including your grandpa, including Mr. Spence, including me.
I don't use them. I don't got nothing.
You don't think you use your grandpa?
I don't use my papa.
Grandpa, how many times have you been evicted because of him?
About
How many times?
3-4 times.
Right?
I'm not using you.
I
He's
love
all
you,
this to
son.
provide.
I love you.
You don't listen to him. You don't follow his rules, right? And so he loves you.
Papa, so before I even cut that monitor, I was doing everything you asked me, right? Everything.
Yes, but you did cut the monitor because you wanted to go to the funeral. Agreed, but that's all over with. We're here at this point now. We got to deal with what you got to deal with. And you keep blaming Judge Kim, and that's why we are where we are now.
Your papa is a wise man. You know what? He's here every single time you have a detention hearing. Every single time, right? Because he loves you and cares about you. But you're out there thinking that there's something better than the home that he's providing. Right? You're going to show him some gratitude. So, anyways, you know, before I used to make a deal saying you get to level 1-0 and I'll let you out on the monitor again. At this point, I'm detaining you and I'm just going to figure out, we'll see how you do. I'm not going to leave it open-ended. You may stay here till you're 19 years old. I haven't decided yet. All right? So we'll just see. We'll see how it goes. But either way, if you don't behave here, then I know you're not going to behave outside. What you manage to do is get to your behavior level up. I'll release you. And then you go out and you just break the rules again. So, you know, you can only lie to somebody so many times before they stop trusting you. You'll find that with your friends too.
When I see you again?
Oh, you'll see me every 5 days. I do this when you're 11 years old. I want to see you every 5 days just to make sure that we stay in communication with each other.
So I see you Monday?
Yeah, it'll be next Monday.
I love you, Rodney.
Papa, tell my mama I love her.
And I love you, and I will.
All right. Okay, so you're detained. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, so I'm going to turn this over.
Tell me pretty lies, look me in the face, tell me that you love me, even if it's